Shalum. Shalom and welcome. Welcome to the White Rose Family Channel. If you're tuning in for the first time, my name is Symmanayah, and these are the words I'm compelled to present before an awakening, set-apart nation. To those who are drawn by the Almighty Father, the Almighty Yahuah, to Yahusha, as it is written in John 6:44. For no man can come unto the Father except through the Son, who embodies, who represents, who is the word of Yahuwah. And we read in John 14:26 that the Almighty Father sent his Spirit in Yahusha's name to comfort us, to remind us, to guide us. Yashar'al, if you are one who seek to do the will of the Almighty Father, I consider you my brother, my sister, and part of the nation of Yashar'al. Both Hebrews and Gentiles grafted together as one. But make no mistake, O Yashar'al, the 12 tribes will rise, 144,000 Hebrews, Abraham will rise to complete what has been promised, what has been prophesied. But before I get into this installment of the final Exodus Countdown 2023, let me say this. The views expressed in these messages do not necessarily reflect the views of the owners, managers, and/or shareholders, as well as sponsors of this media platform. With that said, let's get into this. Within the embodiment of the messages called Yashar'al Countdown, the final Exodus Countdown 2023, I've installed a sequence of messages under Set Apart Yashar'al in Motion. This is the 13th installment of that. Occasionally, I will present a bulletin that will be placed and interrupt the sequence. Yashar'al, this slide, this picture, this image you see may be busy. The words that I speak to you may seem much or too redundant. But make no mistake, to those who are drawn by the Almighty Father, they will make sense. And they will add energy and fuel. They will prove to be backed by the power and might of the Almighty Father in due season. Yashar'al, in this 13th sequence of Yashar'al in motion, I want to bring your attention to information and instructions. Information versus instructions. You see, my brothers and sisters, it's time to know the difference. The difference between just receiving information and receiving instructions. We must learn to discern the value of focus and actions. You see, my brothers and sisters, when it comes to information, there's a lot of people across the spectrum of believers of some type of influence. But speaking specifically to Yashar'al, we're hearing a lot of brothers and sisters saying this is going to happen. There's going to be tsunamis and earthquakes and volcanoes and storms and famine. Include me. And we say all the things to inform, to confirm and reaffirm what's going to happen. That's information talking about what's going to happen, what Yashar'al will one day see and for some experience. But where are the instructions, O Yashar'al? Have we begun to listen for direct instructions on what we are supposed to be doing now? At the very least, preparing to do? You see, there's a lot of this is going to happen, that's going to happen, and he's going to do this and he's going to do that. But I failed to witness many instructing Yashar'al as the Almighty Father would have it to be instructing on what to do. There's a difference. Continue with me, O Yashar'al. Discern the expectations of teaching. For an information and instruction, just to get the information, even if you just had a textbook or the scriptures, to have the information without knowing what to do with it or how to respond to the information received would be what you see now, conflict, will lead to instability, confusion. We must discern the life in the words that are brought to us and what it is that is expected of us, and how to teach and why we should teach others in a set-apart way, providing them with information and instructions. Come with me to Proverbs 22:6, my brothers and sisters. It says, train up a child in the way he should go. Even when he is old, he turns not away from it. Have we been trained in the way we should go? Are we training our children in the way which they should go? Or are we just telling them what's going to happen, what has happened, and what is happening? Train brings about actions. Teachings brings about actions on how to govern ourselves. And in these final days, O Yashar'al, in this final Exodus, this countdown, 2023, between now and then and beyond, we will understand the importance of not just giving information, but providing instructions. Consider Proverbs 9:9, my brothers and sisters. It says, give instruction to a wise man, and he will be yet wiser. Teach a just man, and he will increase in learning. You see, my brothers and sisters, there's a reason, there's a purpose for these things. As end times ramp up, we must learn what we are supposed to be doing. We must begin to act beyond just sharing information, demonstrating the functions that are required to fulfill the final promises of the Almighty Father. Except why the word doctrine is of great importance. For I have seen many camps, many brothers say, let's not get hung up on doctrine. We all believe in Yahuwah. We all believe in the Almighty Yahuah. Let's not get all hung up and entangled in doctrine. That's not scriptural, and that's wicked. Remember, the scriptures say, no house divided against itself shall stand. So if we divide it in doctrine, how do you think we're going to stand in unity for a final Exodus in or other things that are ordered by the Almighty Father? How do you think that we can, with conviction, fulfill and honor the Almighty Father's words when it comes to assembling and not forsaking the assembling together? We must understand the importance of doctrine. Let me read the following, O Yashar'al, Romans 16, verse 17 through 20. Come with me there. Romans chapter 16, verse 17 through 20 reads, now I call upon you, brothers, watch out for those who cause divisions and stumbling, contrary to the teaching which you learned and turned away from. For such ones do not serve our Master Yahushua Messiah, but their own stomach, and by smooth words and flattering speech, they deceive the hearts of the innocent. Your obedience indeed is reported to all. Therefore, I rejoice concerning you. But I wish you to be wise indeed as to the good and simple toward the evil. And the Almighty One of peace shall crush Satan under your feet shortly. The favor of our Master Yahushua Messiah be with you. Amen. My brothers and sisters, doctrine is important. Teaching, doctrine are synonymous. They mean the same thing. Beyond just information comes instructions. There's more regarding doctrine. Come with me to 2 Timothy, chapter 3, verse 16 and 17. 2 Timothy, chapter 3, verse 16 and 17. It reads, all scripture is breathed out by the Almighty One and profitable for teaching, for reproof, for setting straight, for instruction in righteousness, that the man of the Almighty One may be fitted, equipped for every good work. You see, teachings, doctrine is for reproof, for setting straight. We must understand when those say, let's just ignore doctrine, let's not worry about the doctrine, let's just come together. That's wicked. To agree to disagree is wicked. To just come together just because we're Hebrews by race is wrong. To come together just because we're Hebrews and set apartness, if we're not walking in unity and obedience to the Almighty Father, then something is wrong. And in these final days, O Yashar'al, extreme humbling times will prove the need to silence the disobedience and magnify the words of the obedience, words that they are given to say and speak on behalf of building up the set-apart nation of Yashar'al, of lifting up Yahusha, so that he can draw all men to himself, as it states in John 12:32. And this is how we come together, by the power and might, by the information and instructions, not just information alone, but instructions on what to do, how to do it, with whom, and when, and more. Yashar'al, knowledge can lead to wisdom and discipline. It is a requirement in these final days to understand, to act, to give instructions, to receive instructions. It's more than just about the information of Yashar'al. It's about the quickening spirit of the Almighty Father working in us, through us, one towards another, for his good pleasure. Let me read the following, O Yashar'al. Come with me to Proverbs 1:7. Proverbs 1:7 reads, the fear of Yahuwah is the beginning of knowledge. Fools despise wisdom and discipline. Knowledge, my brothers and sisters, the beginning of knowledge. Knowledge is more than just information. It's about instructions. And instructions require information. The two work hand in hand. When we are quickened by the Spirit of Yahuwah to bring life to the information that we receive, to understand the instructions we are to receive and or to give. But it begins with fearing Yahuwah. Fearing Yahuwah is a pause. It's a pause to seek and pray, to discern what he is saying, and understand who he is saying it to and how. Is he speaking through a brother, a sister, a pastor, a moray, a teacher, a bishop? Is he speaking through one we would consider the least among us? Have we grown to have an ear and eyes that can be quickened to identify the knowledge that the Almighty Father would have us to receive, the information to receive, the instructions that require us to act? Let me move to Proverbs 2:6 says, for Yahuwah gives wisdom. Out of his mouth comes knowledge and understanding. You see, O Yashar'al, we speak a good game, but it's time to know what these words mean. It's time to know what this information requires of us. It's time to recognize the instructions that follow behind the words we read. Proverbs 9:10 reads as follows. The fear of Yahuwah is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the set-apart one is understanding. Yashar'al, O Yashar'al, it is important to understand what it means also to redeem the time. You see, as end times come, things did not happen in times past at the blink of an eye. Things did not happen, in most cases, in an instant. Things happen over time. Sometimes looking back, hindsight, we say, where did the time go? Yashar'al, O Yashar'al, it is important for us to start valuing time every moment, each day, asking ourselves, what are we doing to further the sovereignty of Yahushua Mashiach, to magnify the instructions of Abba Yahuah. In Yahusha's name, it's time to understand what redeeming the time means, for it is important during this time of increased information and instructions. Yashar'al, oh Yashar'al, you hear me talk often about focus. I have even read on many occasions Proverbs 4:23-27, which talks about focus. Proverbs 4:23-27. Focus is necessary for completing end times tasks successfully. You see, Yashar'al, if we look around, uncertainty is magnifying. Fear is enlarging. There's a fear of Yahuwah, and there's a fear of what man can do. Let us not fear what man can do to us, but let us fear Yahuwah to the point where it gives us pause to be assured that we're discerning the voice of He who is the Almighty One, praying without ceasing, knowing when to focus, how to focus, what is expected of us. So much information is inundating us, surrounding us, is overwhelming many of us. Seek out the instructions regarding the information that is relevant to the task that the Almighty Father will have you do, will have us do. Hear these words, O Yashar'al. Do not forsake these instructions. Remember, examine all things. Consider this, O Yashar'al. I spoke of redeeming the time. In Colossians, it talks about redeeming the time. And I say to you, O Yashar'al, Colossians 4:5 reads, walk in wisdom to those who are outside, redeeming the time. In other words, time is short. With everything we do, there's something that's not being done. And maybe it shouldn't be done. The bottom line, O Yashar'al, let us choose wisely how we manage our time. For the things we do, once we do it, we have redeemed the time. Let me give you an example. If you're busy jumping from camp to camp, you're missing something that the Almighty Father may have for you. If your focus is just being entertained by the different camps and the different teachers and mores and YouTubers or whatever platform is being used to communicate information, if you're just absorbed by entertainment, then you can expect to receive by the Almighty Father instructions on how to better redeem the time. That includes me as well, O Yashar'al, for it is a struggle as the flesh war against the spirit. You hear me say often, there's so much work to be done. Let us begin examining things. Let us seek out the instructions from the Almighty Father and begin to act. Remember, it is written, we are instructed to examine all things. Consider Philippians Chapter 1, verse 8-11. For it reads, for the Almighty One is my witness, how I long for you all with the affection of Yahusha Messiah. And this I pray, that your love might extend more and more in knowledge and all discernment, for you to examine the matters that differ, in order to be sincere and not stumbling until the day of Messiah, being filled with the fruit of righteousness through Yahushua Messiah, to the esteem and praise of the Almighty One. Yashar'al, my brothers and sisters, information without abilities can oppose a challenge to instructions. In other words, if you have information but don't have the ability to do certain tasks, but someone is telling you to do it, it poses a challenge to those instructions. So information comes, instructions come, actions follow. Yashar'al, O Yashar'al, let us not just say, give me the instructions. Let us understand what it is to teach, to train, to demonstrate, to transfer experience to one another that is in need or that is lacking, and receive from others where we lack. Yashar'al, oh Yashar'al, is more than just talking about what they did, what they're doing, what's been happening. It's a whole lot of that. Consuming time, consuming the action. There's a lot of finger pointing. But we, oh Yashar'al, it's time to look in the mirror. It's time to look at the information that is pertinent, that is relevant, that is important for us to follow the living instructions and guidance from the Spirit of Yahuwah. Do you think the final exodus is just going to happen in an instant at the blink of an eye? Do you think that final gathering will come without work, without details, without processes? Look around, O Yashar'al. As humbling times come, there will be those who will rise providing instructions, even in the midst of their demise, and in the midst of our death. Will rise those who were recipients of information and instructions and knew clearly what to do, how to act, how to respond. Yashar'al, my brothers and sisters, I can't stress enough how there is so much work to be done. Know what's coming and when to consider the following words to be true. These words are true from times past, as they will be in these coming days. Hear these words, O set apart Yashar'al. Come with me to Amos chapter 9, verse 8 and 9. Amos chapter 9, verse 8 and 9. For the Almighty Father knew that information we will increase in knowledge, for it is foretold in the scriptures. The Almighty Father has directed us to receive his instructions and know how to give his instructions and why. The Almighty Father knew the need to sift through all the noise, all the uncertainty, all the civil unrest and chaos. The need to be able to have the ability to navigate through the wars and conflicts requires a set-apart sifting in which we are receiving and will receive information and instructions. Do not leave out one without the other, O Yashar'al. Let me read Amos 9, 8 and 9. It reads, Look, the eyes of the Master Yahuwah are on the sinful reign, and I shall destroy it from the face of the earth, except I do not completely destroy the house of Yaakov, declares Yahuwah. For look, I am commanding, and I shall sift the house of Yashar'al among all the nations, as one sift with a sieve, yet not a grain falls to the ground. He is speaking to those who will be obedient. If you want to take it even further, looking at the life of his children will not just go to the ground and that's it. When they say a grain shall not fall, a grain, their spirit will always be with the Almighty Father, will not be lost. So we must pray and seek to understand what this means. For we know there are those who have died before us. We know there are those who will be left behind, who have died, and those who will be left behind who are physically alive. If we read the 43rd chapter of Isaiah, we'll see that those for the final exodus are those he created for his esteem. Do not fall for the false sense of security and saying everybody's going to go. But when it says he's going to sift the house of Yashar'al, he knows those who are his. And everyone that is his will rise up in due season. If that season is the final exodus, or if that season is Judgment Day. Yashar'al, oh Yashar'al, it's time to understand what will happen. What actions are required? What will we witness as the Almighty Father Yahuwah sift the house of Yashar'al? Will there not be some pain? Will there not be some who are in disagreement of how he sifts the house of Yashar'al? Are we not aware that it speaks of judgment begins at the house of Yahuwah first? My brothers and sisters, we must recognize what is written regarding judgment, beginning at the house of Yahuwah first. Could that not be the same as Yashar'al being sifted? Yashar'al. It's time to wake up and face the realities of what is expected. You see, to ignore the information and instructions, it's not wise, my brothers and sisters. Bear with me for a second. I wanted to take you to that passage, 1 Peter 4:17. For there are many who may be listening to this for the first time, who may not be aware. But 1 Peter 4:17 reads, because it's time for judgment to begin from the house of the Almighty One. And if firstly from us, what is the end of those who do not obey the good news of the Almighty One? 1 Peter 4:17. Could that be akin to Yahuwah, our Almighty Father, sifting the house of Yahuwah? And will it be through him working through us one towards another? My brothers and sisters, it's time to discuss these matters. What say you, O Yashar'al? Pray and discuss end-time expectations. Let us begin to recognize the realities of what it looks like to face judgment, to understand, to get under the blood of the Lamb when it's necessary to repent and seek forgiveness. The swifter we're able to do that, the quicker we can yield to correction and stop trying to fight to preserve our ego or self-esteem, and stop trying to present an abundance of excuses to wear down the pursuers of set-apartness in obedience to the Almighty Father. Discuss end-time expectations. Discuss the details and processes. Know what is necessary, O Yashar'al, lest we find ourselves in a state of regret and pain. My brothers and sisters, information makes known, but discerning what to do requires instructions, requires live, set-apart instructions that will quicken us and cause us to act in ways that are necessary to fulfill these end-time prophecies and so much more in the coming days. My brothers and sisters, help me. Help me, as I believe I am a contributor towards the coming together of Yashar'al in the Western Hemisphere before moving to the Promised Land. Help me, O Yashar'al, make known the information you have regarding your abilities and instructions on how to act, how to respond. Make known what stirs inside. You see, O Yashar'al, the day is coming where those that are being drawn by the Almighty Father to fulfill the final exodus will recognize the stirring within and begin to act. What say you? Help me. If you're not sure what to do, at the very least, you can say, I did contribute financially to help build the body of Yashar'al. I did contribute in ways I didn't know, and when I didn't know of any other way. Help me, O Yashar'al. Share these words, for there are details, there are instructions. There's information, there's instruction, there's guidance. There are answers to questions. There are questions yet to be answered. But Yashar'al, O Yashar'al, make no mistake, details and processes. This message will serve its purpose to those who are trained by it, to those who can receive it as set-apart instructions. On that note, O Yashar'al, my prayer is that you are in good health, or at the very least, that you are embodied with the strength, the fortitude, to yet praise the Almighty Father in whatsoever state we're in. My prayer is that we grow in discerning the voice of the Almighty Father Yahuwah, said in Yahusha's name, and not only say it, not only provide that information, but provide the instruction that we are to give one towards another for the building up of the 144,000 in great multitude mentioned in the 7th chapter of Revelation. Yashar'al, O Yashar'al, end time expectations requires details, processes, tasks that must be done and completed. What say you, my brother, my sister? Soon and very soon we will take all that is coming before us with all seriousness and begin to lean into obedience to the voice of the Almighty Father Yahuwah. In the name of Yahusha, the Spirit of Yahusha will indeed comfort, guide us. And out of the discipline from the Almighty Father that is promised, we will rise up refined, a set-apart, unified nation. And as the 12 tribes are confirmed and recognized, we will all ultimately end up under the banner of Yashar'al, a set-apart nation, ruled by Yahusha, our sovereign, or some will say king. On that note, I salute your patience, your tolerance, your love for set-apartness. I salute you, my brother, my sister, my family. Take care and Shalum. Shalom, my brothers and sisters.